हरि ओम। ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सूर्याय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री दुर्गाये नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धेर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om. Hari Om. Bhagavan says that my janma and my karma are divine, and one who knows this becomes free of this samsara. Bhagavan says, though I am unborn, taking my own prakriti in my control, I manifest myself. That is Bhagavan's avatar. And though Bhagavan appears to be doing lot of work, but Bhagavan is akarta. So namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. Bhagavan says that the karmas don't bind me, nor do I have any desire for the results of karma. So one who understands Bhagavan's nature, and one who understands Bhagavan as not different from one's own self, becomes free. So for that we have to perform karma. And while performing karma, we should know what are our duties, and those duties we should perform, fulfill, dedicating to Ishvara, and avoid all nisiddha karma, and strive to gain that knowledge of the self and gain abidance in that knowledge. So Bhagavan says that the wise person, he sees the presence of that Atma, he sees his own Atma in all activities. Even when there are activities happening, he sees the absence of action in that Atma. And even when the ignorant person says that I am not doing anything, the wise person sees action being done there. Because if you have ahankar, then whether we act or we don't act, both are considered as action only. And one who is established in the self, one who gains abidance in the self, one who recognizes the self, then that person, whether acting or not acting, is not acting, is free from all action. So this great secret was revealed. Bhagavan says, karmani akarma yap pashed, akarmani cha karma yaha, one who sees absence of action, that is Atma, in action, and one who sees that even when an ignorant person is not acting, that is also an action. So such a person who can recognize, who can distinguish between Atma and Anatma, between the absence of action in Atma and the presence of action in the Anatma, in the Prakriti. One who can distinguish this properly is Buddhiman Manusheshu Sayukta Krishna Karma Krita. He is Buddhiman among all humans, and is well integrated and is fulfilled. Such a person has attained the ultimate goal of life. So such enlightened person is described in the following verses. Bhagavan says all his actions are devoid of kama sankalpa. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjita. Means there is no desire in any action. There is no what you call attachment to the result of action, because all these are burnt in knowledge. See, we perform action to gain happiness. We perform action to gain what you call security for ourselves, to preserve ourselves. We perform action to gain knowledge. But one who has gained the realization, gained the knowledge of the self, which is always existing, means pure existence, pure knowledge, and pure bliss, such a person will not have any desire for anything else. So, Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam, all his karmas are burnt in the fire of knowledge. Tam Ahu Panditam Buddhaha. Such a person is called Pandit, the knower of that Supreme Self. So, such realized masters, their nature and how they live in this world, that is described now in the following verses also. So, verse number 20. Tyaktva karmaphala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Bhagavan says, Tyaktva karmaphala sangam. This wise person, this enlightened person, has given up all his attachment, all his identification with karma as well as karma phala. There is no identification, there is no attention on karma and karma phala. Whatever activity which we see happening in the enlightened person's life is just expression of his prarabdha getting expressed there. But that person doesn't have any identification with the karma and karma phala also. So, tyaktva karmasu abhimanam karma phala sangam cha yathoktena jnanena, because of this knowledge. And nityatruptaha. But one may feel that, oh, he is not interested in any phala, then must be very unhappy. Bhagavan says, no, he is nityatruptaha. Always deeply content, deeply satisfied. Just as in the second chapter also we saw the lakshanas of a sthita prajna. He is also sthita prajna is described here. So he is deeply content in himself. Atmaneva atmana tushtaha, it was said about sthita prajna, ki one who is content in his own self. So here also the enlightened person is described as nityatruptaha, always deeply content. See, just as we are in deep sleep, when we are in deep sleep, dreamless sleep, there are no activities happening. The body is lying there on the bed and the pranas are keeping the body alive, but the mind, means antakarana, has merged into the pranas, the senses have merged into the antakarana, and I am alone with myself. No activity is happening in me. There are no desires. There are no agitations. So there is total peace and happiness. Because in my own nature, in myself, there is no incompleteness of any kind. What we experience in deep sleep, the great joy and peace, an enlightened person experiences the same in the waking state. He has no connection with the body and the world. He has no attachment to the karma and karma phala, but there is a deep sense of satisfaction and peace is there. Peace that passeth all understanding. Deep satisfaction. Therefore Bhagavan says, Nityatruptaha. Feeling of enough, that I don't need anything else. I don't need anything more. I have everything. I am complete by myself. That nitya triptaha. Therefore, he is nirashrayaha, not dependent on any karma or any karma phala or any person or any devata for his satisfaction and peace. Just like in the 3rd chapter, Bhagavan has said that a person who has attained that self-realization, he doesn't require anything. नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः न अकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिद अर्थव्यपाश्रयः. That was said about an enlightened person in the 3rd chapter, 18th verse. Same thing is said here, कि this person is nirashrayah, doesn't depend on any karma or doesn't depend on any karma phala or doesn't depend on any person or on devatas or on place for his deep satisfaction and contentment. Therefore, he is nirashrayah, independent. The person's, enlightened person, happiness and peace and contentment is independent, doesn't depend on anything, anyone, nothing. So therefore he is nirashrayah. But the body is still existing. Others see an enlightened person living in this world, expressing through the body, talking, walking, thinking, eating, drinking, sleeping. So we see an enlightened person functioning in this world. So it is said that even though he seems to be performing action and functioning in this world, karmani abhipravrittopi, in different karma is abhipravrittaha, he is functioning through different karma, he is acting in this world, not that just sitting quietly not doing anything. No, he does. If you see the life of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, great enlightened person of recent times, he used to just live in that ashram, go for a walk also, sit and read a newspaper also, talk to people, work in the kitchen, be with the cows and the peacocks and all, and just live like an ordinary person, like just a person, simple living, no anxiety, no ambition that I should do this, I should do that, no desire for anything, but always deeply content and satisfied. That people who is to come and be in his presence, they will also feel that deep peace and satisfaction in his presence. So karmani abhipravrittopi, those seem to be performing different types of action, but his actions are not prompted by desires. His actions are not prompted by some emotions like pride or jealousy or competition or ambition or greed. No. All his actions are expressions of the prarabdha of his body. So karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. But if you ask him in his supreme state, he is not doing anything. That Atma is not doing anything. Just like the Atma doesn't do anything in deep sleep, the Atma doesn't do anything in dream also, and Atma doesn't do anything in the waking also. But ignorant person doesn't recognize this, but an enlightened person knows this. So naiva kinchit karoti saha. is not doing anything. Naiva kinchit karoti saha. He is that Atma who is not doing anything, though all the time engaged in action. See, we hear about different enlightened person. And very interesting, though the enlightenment is same, the enlightenment is same for all, the expression of different Mahatmas are different in the world. There are some who will remain at one place only, but there are those who will move everywhere in the world. Like Naradji goes from one loka to other loka also. So there are Mahatmas who will go all over the world doing loka sangraha, like Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. He went length and breadth of this country, sharing the great wisdom of our scriptures with the whole world, establishing mathas in four corners of our country. Then there are Mahatmas who will express different emotions also. There are some enlightened Mahatmas mentioned in our scriptures, like Durvasa Rishi, used to get angry also. There are those who will just sit at one place in total meditation, avoiding all crowd and other places. Such Mahatmas are also there. Even our Bhagwan Taponji Maharaj, Sri Taponji Maharaj used to be there in Uttar Kashi only, or he will go up in the Himalayas in Gangotri, and sometimes he will just move in the Himalayas everywhere. Even Manas Sarovar, Kailash Yatra, Badrinath, Kedarnath, just freely moving in this world, appearing to be performing lot of actions, but naiva kinchit karoti saha, but really speaking is not doing anything. See, the descriptions of the Mahatmas here are very fascinating. The idea is that we listen to this description and get inspired to do our sadhana, so that we can also reach this glorious state of self-abidance, free from all sorrows, free from all worries, free from all fears. See, nowadays, because of this pandemic, so much of fear is there in the minds of people. Oh, I will die, something will happen to me, something will happen to my friends, my relatives, what will happen? Fear is there. Because we have this strong identification with the body, and body is constantly changing, decaying, and one day it will die also. Whether there is pandemic or no pandemic, the body will collapse one day. But one who has recognized the self, one who has seen the self, and gain abidance in the self, becomes free of all worries, all tension, and all fears. There is no fear in the heart of that enlightened person. Just like we are wearing this dress, and if somebody threatens us that I will cut your dress, I will destroy your dress, I will not have fear, because I am not my dress. Similarly, an enlightened person doesn't have any fear of the death of this body. So he is always nitya truptaha karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Further, Bhagwan says, Nirashiryata chittatma takta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Bhagwan says, Nirashihi yata chittatma, this self-realized master, is nirashihi. Nirashi means all asha means all expectations have gone from him. There are no expectations. He doesn't live for a future. See, those who have expectation, they live for future. They are not very satisfied with the present. So they feel that something better will happen in future. ऐसा होगा, वैसा होगा. हाँ, things will be this way. I will get a good job. Things will be better in the world. All the malls and cinema hall will open up and everything will be so nice and wonderful and all. So we always have expectation for a wonderful future. And those who have this expectation strongly looking at a wonderful future, what does it mean? That fellow is not totally satisfied in the present, has not totally fulfilled in the present. But an enlightened person is absolutely fulfilled in the presence. From fulfillment to fulfillment he moves. At present, at this very moment, he is totally, completely fulfilled. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow also he will continue to be fulfilled. Means there is no change in his completeness. See, completeness is completeness. There is no incompleteness in him of any kind. So therefore there is no asha, expectation कि ऐसा होगा, इतना अच्छा होगा, nothing like that. Because everything is good, everything is complete now. So nirashi hi yata chittatma. Therefore his chitta, his mind, his antakarana is absolutely under his control. Under his control means he is proactively or even without his notice, his antakarana will not move here and there. See, our mind moves automatically towards objects of our likes and dislike. We move automatically, our mind start thinking about those things which we are attached to. We cannot even control our mind. It just moves there. It's like some cows and some animals and all. They see the green grass and just moves there. You can't stop them. They will just keep on grazing and moving everywhere. Similarly, our mind also keeps on going from one object to another, thinking about this object, that object. But very interesting, just even imagining this gives us so much joy, that an enlightened person's mind doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go from one place to another place, because he knows that there is nothing there in that place to go. There is nothing to be achieved in that place. So mind doesn't go from one place to another, from one object to another. Mind doesn't go from one time to another. He doesn't think of the past or start imagining the future or start getting excited about the present. The mind is absolutely still, like a lake. Deep waters are there in the lake, and the lake is absolutely still and absolutely clean. You can see the depth of that lake. Like that, the enlightened person's mind is absolutely still and calm and peaceful and quiet. Doesn't go anywhere. See, when we are talking or when we are doing something, hardly our mind is in the present moment. Even now when you are listening, you will be thinking something else. Or writing some comments or thinking about something else. So it is very difficult to be in the present moment for an ignorant person. It is a great effort. because we are not totally deeply satisfied in the present moment. Therefore, we look for something interesting in the future. We are not deeply satisfied in the present place. Therefore, we look for fulfillment in some other place, some other time, with some other person. But an enlightened person is deeply satisfied in the present moment. Even to imagine his condition is very difficult for an ignorant person. So, nirashihi yata chittatma, therefore his mind, antakarana, is totally under his control. It doesn't move, doesn't go here and there at all, absolutely still. See, in Lord Ganesha, Bhagwan Ganesha Bhagwan, he likes Modaka. And Bhagwan Ganesha's Vahan is a mouse. And that mouse also likes Modak. And a big thali is kept in front of Ganesha with lot of Modak. But that mouse will just sit quietly there, not even looking at the Modak, staring at Lord Ganesha only, not getting disturbed by anything. His attention doesn't go anywhere. His attention doesn't go at the Modak. His attention is only on Lord Ganesha. Similarly, an enlightened person's attention is only on the Supreme Self, on that Ishvara. It doesn't go here and there. It doesn't go to the little pleasures of this world. Therefore, his yata chittatma, his mind is totally under his control. Takta sarva parigraha, he has given up all holding on to objects of this world, holding on to places, people, things, out of fear, out of gaining something in future. We hold on to things. We hold lot of money, we hold lot of land, we hold lot of objects. We hold lot of things, eatables and furnitures and dresses and all sorts of things. उसको इकट्ठा करके इसे बांध के रखते हैं, because we are afraid that tomorrow I might need. If I don't get it, then I should have it. So people keep on hoarding. But this Mahatma, Takta Sarva Parigraha, he doesn't hoard anything. He doesn't have to hoard कि ये मैं रखता हूँ कल मेरा काम में आ जाएगा. No, tomorrow is another day. He is totally fulfilled. It is actually Ishvara who takes care of his body. Ishvara alone takes care. He is not even bothered to maintain his body. Just like a child, the parents, especially the mother, takes care of the child. The mother feeds the child in time. The mother, gives bath to the child, dresses the child, feeds the child, makes the child sleep, makes the child get up, plays with the child. It's a mother's responsibility. Child, if you leave it alone, it cannot do anything. It is not interested. Similarly, an enlightened person, Bhagwan takes care of an enlightened person, like his own child. So he doesn't have to store anything. He doesn't have to keep anything. He doesn't have to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Bhagwan says, one who is totally tuned to me, I take care of that person. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. So takta sarva parigraha. But that doesn't mean he is not doing anything. The minimum thing required to maintain the physical body, he seems to be doing. If he is thirsty, he drinks water. When he is hungry, he will eat. If the food is available, he eats. If food is not available, he will not even eat. But whatever little karma he does, just to take care of the body. Bhagwan has given this body. Through this body, he has gained that enlightenment. The body's prarabdha is still continuing. So he will just look after the body. Just like we have a beautiful plant in our garden. It gives like nice flowers, fragrant flowers, and you are there. So you every day you water the plant. You take care of the plant. Though you are staying there temporarily, you have plans of going somewhere else, but as long as you are there, you will water the plant. Similarly, as long as the Mahatma is there in this body, he will water the body, he will feed the body, he will dress the body, and he will just live in full contentment. That contentment is something very amazing. That contentment doesn't depend on the outer world. It doesn't depend on wealth and position and name and fame. That is what ignorant person feels, that my contentment depends on the other things of this world. But an enlightened person is deeply content in himself. So shariram kevalam karma. Shariram is just for the sharira sthiti matra prayojanam. Just to maintain the body, whatever karma is required, he does. Shariram kevalam karma kurvan, doing that karma also, na apnoti kilbisham. He doesn't acquire any impurities. He doesn't acquire any papa. There is no sin. There is no papa because there is no sense of that doership is not there. There is no attachment to the result of action. There is no dependence on anything. Therefore, there is no sin for an enlightened person. He might be seen doing things, but it doesn't create samskar. It doesn't create karma. It doesn't bind that enlightened person to karma. There is no bondage to karma in an enlightened person. So, shariram kevalam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham, doesn't acquire any kilbish, any impurities, any papa, any sin. That is the great thing of this enlightened person. More about such an enlightened person is described in the next verse also. Bhagavan says, Yadricha labha santushtaha dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhavasiddhau cha krutvapi na nibadhyate. Bhagavan says, Yadricha labha santushtaha. It's very beautiful. He says he is santushtaha, totally fulfilled, totally content, and absolutely satisfied with whatever he gets without asking, without striving for the maintenance of his body. Otherwise, he doesn't require anything. For the maintenance of the body, whatever he gets, without asking also, he is totally satisfied with that. Yadricha labha santushtaha. Again, if we see Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's life, in the initial stages, he used to just sit hours together meditating, or in his own world as though established in that self. So people used to come and offer food to him. People used to come offer some clothes to him. People used to come and take care of him, do his seva. But he used to be totally oblivious about everything. Once he was even sitting in the basement of a temple meditating, totally lost in meditation, that little these ants, they were there, and they started biting his thighs and all, but he was totally unaware, absolutely in that bliss. Yadricha, it's very difficult to comprehend such an enlightened person. It's very difficult. So yadricha labha santushtaha. Santushta, absolutely fulfilled, content by whatever comes. Agate swagatam kuryat gachantam na nivarayet. In Ashtavakra Gita, this shloka is there, that enlightened person or that advice is given to seekers, whatever comes in life, you welcome them. And whatever goes, let them go. Don't stop what is going, and whatever comes, just welcome. This world is total movement. It constantly changes. Every moment a new scene is presented in front of us. Depending on our own karma and depending on the karma of this entire world, a new picture is presented in front of us. So just look at that picture, enjoy, welcome it, and when it goes, don't stop it, let it go. So Mahatma also, yadrichalabha santushtaha dvandva atitaha. He is beyond dvandva. Dvandva means the pairs of opposites. The world which we experience through our senses with the help of our mind, intellect, and because of our likes and dislikes, is experienced in the form of dvandva. There are certain things which we like, certain things we don't like. Therefore, certain thing gives me joy, certain gives me sorrow. Something I consider as my victory, something I consider my defeat. Something is considered as gain, something is considered as loss. Something is considered pleasure, something is considered pain. So there is this dvandva, pairs of opposites. Opposite type of things are explained. Experience. If one experiences pleasure, the pain subsides for some time. Then when the pleasure subsides, the pain comes again. So they go together, this dvandva goes together. When victory is experienced, defeat is kept far away. When victory disappears, defeat comes. When the heat is experienced, the cold remains away. When the cold is experienced, heat remains away. So this heat and cold, gain and loss, this dvandva is experienced, and a person gets agitated by this dvandva. If it is in tune with our likes, we feel very happy, we are very excited. If it is not tuned with our likes, we feel very disturbed. But a Mahatma accepts both. When there is pleasurable situation around, he is happy. When there is pleasurable situation is not around, he is happy in that also. He remains same in joys and sorrow, in pleasure and pain, in victory and defeat, in gain and loss. Whatever happens in the world, he remains beyond that. Therefore, he is called dvandva atitaha, beyond the pairs of opposites. Vimatsaraha. How does he interact with the world? How does he interact with people? Does he have jealousy or pride or anger? He says no, he is vimatsaraha, means there is no matsar, there is no jealousy in his heart. He doesn't feel a sense of competition with the world around. He doesn't feel that, oh, that person is greater than me, is more knowledgeable than me, more wealthy than me. There is no matsar, there is no jealousy. Jealousy is a strange feeling wherein we feel that other person is better than me. Mattas sarati iti, that he is going ahead of me, he is better than me. But for an enlightened person who sees his own self in everyone, There is nobody greater than him, there is no one lesser than him. Everyone is his own self. In the 7th chapter, Bhagavan says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchid asti Dhananjaya. There is nothing greater than me, equal to me, lesser than me in this world. I alone am there. Similarly, a Mahatma looks at this world as his own self. There is nothing different from his own self. So there is no question of matsar. We don't feel jealous of ourselves. That I am better than yesterday, oh, I am feeling very jealous. Nothing like that. Similarly, he doesn't feel jealous of anyone, nor does he feel angry, nor does he feel proud, because there is nobody else. Self alone is the Atma eva idagam sarvam. Atma alone is there everywhere. So therefore, samas siddhava siddhaucha, in siddhi and asiddhi. When he is working, when he is living in this world, sometimes situation becomes conducive outwardly. Sometimes the situation is not conducive. Sometimes gains what is required. Sometimes doesn't gain what is required. Sometimes he gets bhiksha. Sometimes he doesn't get bhiksha. Sometimes he gets some dakshina. Sometimes he doesn't get dakshina. So in siddhi or asiddhi, he remains sama. He remains same. He doesn't get disturbed by what he gets. He doesn't get disturbed by what he doesn't get. He remains same. There is the total samatva is there. Samatvam. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. That Hari, that Supreme Reality is Saman everywhere. He is established in that samatva. His mind, his intellect, his whole personality is established in that equanimity. Therefore, samasiddhava siddhaucha. He remains sama in siddhi and asiddhi. And krutvapi na nibadhyate. So he might be seen working for maintaining his body. Working means going somewhere for bhiksha, or just sitting and eating, or drinking water, or just lying down, resting, or doing some work. So he might be seen as performing action. And normally, anybody who performs action wrongly can get bound. So he says, na krutvapi na nibadhyate. Though he is seen performing action, he doesn't get bound by that action. He doesn't get bound, because we get bound when we have ahankar, that sense of doership. We get bound when we have attachment to the result of action. Main thing. So here, these things are not there in an enlightened person. Even when the actions are happening, he knows that I am not doing anything. And he is not doing for any particular result. So, kritvapi na nibadhyate. And further, Bhagavan says in the next verse, Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasaha yajna yacharata karma samagram praviliyate. This Gata Sangasya, this Mahatma, enlightened person, is free from all Sangha. There is no attachment to the karma, there is no attachment to the result of karma, there is no attachment to people, there is no attachment to place, there is no attachment to particular state, there is absolutely no attachment to anything. Gata Sangasya, one whose all attachment has gone away. Muktasya, one who is absolutely free. Even while living, an enlightened person is free, therefore he is called Jivan Muktaha. Jivan Mukta means even while living, he is free. So Muktasya, of this person, Jnanavastita Chetasaha, whose mind is absolutely established in that knowledge, whose intellect is established in that knowledge, who has gained that Sthita Prajna Avastha, whose understanding that I am Brahma is Sthita, is absolutely established, is still, it doesn't waver. He doesn't have any doubt that, oh, I wonder if I am really Brahma. No, there is no doubt. So his chetas, his mind, intellect is firmly established in the jnana, aham brahmasmi. So jnana avastita chetasaha. So his karma, how does his karma happen? His karma happens in absolute, like a yajna only. Absolute yajna, 100% like a yajna, or like a puja, like a yajna. Yajna ya charata karma. His whole karma is a perfect example of yajna. Means a perfect example of puja, perfect example of total surrender and dedication to Ishvara, as though Ishvara alone is expressing through that person. There is no individuality in that person. There is no ahankar, there is no mamatva, there is no asakti of any kind. It's a perfect yajna. So yajna charata karma, all his karma is as though performed with yajna bhavana. Yajnacharata karma samagram praviliyate. His karmas get totally dissolved. Means it doesn't give rise to samskar, it doesn't give rise to a result in future. His karmas get dissolved here and now. See, when an ignorant person performs karma for a particular result, then we are bound to come in future to collect that result. We get bound by our karma, we get bound by the result of karma. We tie ourselves to the result. So wherever the karma goes, we have to follow that karma, because we have tied ourselves to it. We have tied ourselves to that karma by our attachment to the karma and by our attachment to the result of karma. But an enlightened person, because his whole action is like a yajna, all his karma samagrams. Agram means the result of karma. So along with agram means along with the result of his karma, all his karmas get dissolved. Praviliyate, get dissolved here and now. There is nothing carried forward. There is nothing taken forward. It's the most amazing thing. An ignorant person, when he works, he carries things in forward also. So we have this much of samskar with which we perform karma now, our samskar increases. It keeps on increasing and we keep on carrying it forward. But an enlightened person, his work dissolves here and now only. He doesn't carry anything for the future. So gata sangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasaha yajnayacharata karma samagram praviliyate. See, when an ignorant person dies also, when we leave our gross body and the sukshma sharir leaves this body, then the samskar is there in that sukshma sharir, and because of this samskar we take up another gross body, and again we express our samskar in that body. But when an enlightened person's gross body gets dropped, the sukshma sharir also get dissolved. Sukshma sharir doesn't remain. It just disappears, it gets dissolved. Just like let us say a balloon is there and the gas is there in the balloon. When the balloon bursts, the gas inside, it just becomes one with the total gas. Similarly, an enlightened person, when his gross body gets dropped, his Sukshma Sharir becomes one with the totality and there is no more rebirth. But when a foolish, ignorant person dies, the Sukshma Sharir doesn't get dissolved. So he is born again. Many people think that once I die, I will become one with Brahma. No. We are born again. If our ignorance is there, then we are born again and again and again. That individuality is not dissolved. It remains for an ignorant person. But in case of an enlightened person, the individuality dissolves. So there is no more birth. Therefore, he performs karma, and while performing karma itself, the karma gets dissolved. No traces are left. Sometimes they give example of a bird flying in the sky. It doesn't leave any footprints behind. When you walk on the seashore, you leave footprints behind. So ignorant person, when he performs karma, he leaves lot of footprints and he comes back to get the result of his karma. But an enlightened person's karma get dissolved here and now, because all his karmas are like great yajna. So what do we mean by his karmas are like yajna? What is this yajna? So that yajna bhava, how his karma is like a very embodiment or the very example of a perfect yajna, is described in the next verse, a very famous and very beautiful verse. You must have heard this many times and maybe knowing it by heart also. Brahmarpanam brahma havihi brahmagno brahmana hutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. So why a enlightened person karma get dissolved here and now? Because his karma is like yajna. What is that yajna? Brahmarpanam brahma havihi. So more about that verse, a beautiful verse, we will see in our class tomorrow. And after this verse, Bhagavan gives guidance for all of us that if we want to attain this state of enlightenment, then we have to do our karma yoga. And we can modify this karma yoga, we can make it more better by adding upasana to our karma yoga. So that upasana is also described in the following verses that we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care of yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, happy, peaceful, do all your work, do your sadhana, remember Bhagwan, pray for the welfare of the whole world, and we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। हरि ओम।